is introduction. What is big data itself? That is where we're gonna start with. Today we'll be covering the basic overview of what is big data, what we are gonna study, and what all things and modules are covered in this. Today we are starting with introduction to big data. Now, what do we mean by big data? Okay, what comes to your mind when you learn about the term big data? What comes to your mind when we talk about the term big data? More data? Okay, let's start from the data itself. Now, what do we mean by data? So data is any kind of information which we are storing is called as a data. Okay. Then what is big data? How it is different? Now, when we talk about big data, it consists of five V's, which refers to velocity, va- variability, volume. What could be other thing similar to this? Then comes is value, and finally is velocity. Now, what differentiate the data from big data is these five V's. Now, big data includes velocity, which means that the amount of the speed of data which is coming in every minute, every unit of time. That is what we refer to as velocity. The data which has been coming in a particular time itself. That what we refer to as velocity. Then we have is variability, which means that the kind of different types of values, different kind of variety of data which is coming in the form of maybe text. Hello, everyone. Let's get started. Yesterday, we discussed about the basic of what is big data technologies and how it works in the real time. So we have done the basic architecture. We have done how we process the things and which all tools and technologies we are going to use today. And we started with the Python part yesterday. Today we'll be continuing on that thing. So how we are using the Python additional, like more functions about the Python part. Let me share the screen. So yesterday we discussed about the basic Python commands, where we discussed about some inbuilt functions such as print, input, the other inbuilt function and the type also we have discussed about. Then we discussed about some basic data types which we have, such as string, integers, and float. Today we'll be starting with, and also we discuss about some operators such as arithmetic operators and comparison operators. Now today we'll be starting with looping statements or control flow statements, we call it. Okay, let's discuss about the complex data type first. So let's talk about the complex data types. Now we have already discussed about some basic data types such as strings, integers, and float. Now complex data types have list, variable, such as X is a container or a variable. Now you define a list using these square brackets. In this, you can provide multiple elements. That is what we refer to as list. That is a list data type. Similar to that, we have, suppose y is equal to another data type which we consider is the tuple. Now, tuple is also the similar kind of list with a slight change that you cannot make any changes once the tuple is created. Once the tuple is created, you cannot make a change into this particular variable. Whereas in the case of list, you can add more elements after creating a list. That is the major difference between these two. After that, we come across The third one, which is dictionaries, which is key value pairs. Suppose A with the element as 1, let's say 1 element as A, 2 is element as B. Hmm. So that is what we refer to as dictionaries, which has been represented by the curly brackets. So the dictionaries are helpful in storing data with the index values. Okay, now here 1, 2, 3 are the key values. That is what we call it as a keys. And along with that key, this is the value you are storing in that. Now this can be some other data type also. Like you can have a string or a list variable also over here. You're storing data as a list value, and here you can have a dictionary also like this, the same key value pair, such as maybe SQ 6S. So that is how you can go with complex data type. That is what we call it as a dictionary. Dictionary, that is what we call it as a dictionaries. Okay. So these are the some complex data types. Now, obviously, if we have data types, then they will be having some additional operations along with them. Now, if we talk about list operation, if you just press enter, you can see multiple operations are there. Now, if you go with append means it will add elements into the list. So if I say 7 is there already, let's say append 8. Let's print this result. Okay, I am running this append 2 times. So you can see the value has been added twice. So that is how you can append the value into a list itself. Similarly, if you want to remove something, you can use a pop. In that case, the pop will remove the first value itself or like the last value itself directly. You do not provide index in that thing. So it pops works from the back. So it will start removing values from the end part itself. Okay, similarly, we have multiple functions available. So if you just press enter, you can say clear. This will clear the list. Copy, if you want to copy all the values into some next one. Count is how many elements do you have. Extend is if you're merging to list, that's when you're going with extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, and sort. So these are some basic operations which are available with this list data type, which you guys can also try out all of them. So these are some basic data types. Similar to that, now as we discussed, that in the tuples, we cannot make any changes. They are fixed and stationary. Now you can see there's only two values available, count and index. You do not have anything just reverse or append or extend or copy because we cannot make changes once the tuple has been created. And going with the same, like if there is no change possible, then why we need it? The question is, if we cannot make any changes in this one, why we are gonna use this? When are we gonna use this tuples? Now, the only use case of the tuples is that they are used uh, when you have a fixed size. Suppose name of country is fixed, and you want to store some name of country, and you want to use this data again and again. Now, tuples are faster in comparison to list. Okay, so if you have a fixed or constant data which you want to store and reuse it again and again, that's when you tend to use the tuples. But if you have a dynamic data which will keep on changing, which will keep on updating, in that case, we tend to work with the list variables. Then finally, we come to the dictionaries. Now, when we talk about dictionaries, again, it have their own operations, such as okay, capital Z. That's right. Now you can see. So these are the operations available in this dictionaries. Now if you go with the keys, now it will show you all the key values, which is 1, 2, and 3. That are the key values inside this. And similar to that, so based on these elements, if you want to get a particular value, you can fetch that dot one. That will not be the one. From keys, that's the value also. So these are the values assigned available in all the keys itself. So everything is available in the key value pair. So based on a particular key, you can get a data if you have a very large data set to store into. That's when you go with the dictionaries. Okay, so these are some basic complex data types which we have. Clear everyone with the complex data types?
Yes, a small doubt is there. Like whether the parenthesis or the curly brackets are compulsory, like list is in square bracket or the tuple is in
Yes, that is compulsory because see, in the Python we do not define that it belongs to this particular category. We have no way of defining that it is a list. Okay, so in other, like, you can define it like this. Either you can do it like this. Okay, there's another way. You can either write it like this, list variable, and then you can use a bracket because you're telling the Python that it's gonna be a list value. So in that case, you will be able to write a list. But because we are not defining it, so this square bracket, round brackets, and this curly brackets, this has been predefined within the system of the list. It's within the system of Python itself. That if you see a
and
square brackets while implementing,
Mhm,
it will be considered as a list.
mhm.
Okay.
Okay, got it. And then when you type x dot or z dot, so as we have already declared that variable like y is equal to tuple, so
Mhm.
accordingly it will give those function options only, right? Like x
Definitely.
dot, if you put x dot, then pop will come, but it will not give you the tuple options accordingly,
Yeah,
right?
obviously. For a particular variable, whichever functions are available in that particular orientation to that function or into that particular variable, also into that particular data type, only those functions will be shown to you.
Okay. Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving further, now that was our complex data types. Now talking about some control flow statements. Now, what is control flow statement? So when you're controlling, s- when you want to make things, when you want to do some repetitive things, or you want to do some task in a sequence, in a flow. That is what we refer to as flow control. For that, we have as three operations basically. One is if else. Then we have is the for loop. Then we have is the while loop. Now, what is if else? Now, if else is like as this value suggests, if this happen, do this, else do this. Okay, if else is just a condition, it's a condition statement. If else is a condition statement where, based on a particular condition, you are telling that if this thing happens, do this thing, or else do this thing. Now, let's see how we do it, how we write that code. If suppose um, we have a data types, right? Um, let's say x is equal to input, input, enter a number. Okay. Now suppose x mod mod x divided by mod 2 is equal to 0. Now what we are checking in this case, this mod sign, this percentage sign refers to what would be the remainder left if you divide the x by 2. If you're dividing the x variable with respect to 2, what will you get as a remainder? That is what this percentage sign refers to. Okay. So print it an even an even number. Because else is anyway like whatever is the left one. So else print it's an odd number. Okay. So now let's run it. Now let's say if we provide a number as 5, enter, we get an error. Reason being, why we are getting the error? Can anyone read that? Why we are getting this error?
Not
We
all
entered a
five
number
were
5.
converted during string formatting.
So what happened is when you take an input over here, let me zoom in a little bit. What happened? Okay. What happened is when you go with the input part, it always take values as a string variable. Now, if you want to convert it into some other variable, you can just convert it like this. So now it will be converted as an integer variable. Now, if I enter the same as 5 and enter, it's an odd number. So you can see by converting that number into integer variable, that is how you can convert the numbers, convert the data type of a particular variable. Now, right now it is an integer variable. Similarly, you can do it as float variable also. Uh, Float, mistake. Similarly, you can convert it like this. Now, if I just write a number as 2, enter, it's an even number. Okay, so that is how you use the if else condition. Now, let's use some more complex statements. Now, if you want to use multiple conditions in this one, what we have is if else. Now, again, you can provide another condition that if x mod 2 x percentage 2 not equal to 0, like this, print, let's say multiple condition. And now I'm using the logical operator, which we have discussed over here, and or and not. So when x is not equal to 0 and x is greater than, suppose, 100, print it's a print it's a big number, just for value I'm adding. Okay, now let's give it a try running it. Now let's say 1 1 1 1 1 2. It's an even number. Okay, it's already divisible by 2. Let's rerun this. It's a big number. You can see it came here because right now what happened? This condition statement was not correct. So it get a false. Then it comes to this line. Now how the execution will be happening? First, it run or execute this particular line. Okay. Then it executed this if condition because that didn't occur, or that didn't uh, give a true result. So it moved to the second condition. It didn't enter into this one till the time this is satisfied. So after executing this particular line, and when it come out to be false, it directly jumped to this one. It executed this, it come out to be true, so it gave you the output. It entered into this one and it gave you the output. Okay, so that is what we have as the if else condition using multiple logical operator or different kind of operators also. Clear?
Yes.
How we are using the if condition, if else. Now going for for loops. Now how do we write a for loop? So for loop is when you want to iterate, when you want to pick single values from a bundle of values. When you want to make operation on a single values from a bundle of values. Now we have a list variable as x. We need to rerun that. Now we have a x variable as list. Now suppose what I say is for I in x. Now that means for I in x, if I just wrote a print I, I'll get all the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what happened? It occurred one by one. It was printing one by one. You're from that particular list, you're taking the values one by one. That is what this for loop is doing. Till the time this all the elements have been accessed at least once. Okay, till that time, it will just keep on running till the range we have. Similarly, if you provide a string statement over here, suppose Sahil girl. Now, if you run it again, it will print all the letters one by one. So because this is also string is also a type of array which is of character data type. Okay, so that's why it just printed all the single values one by one. So that is what we have as a looping statement. Now inside this loop, you can pass another if else condition also. Like if I say, let's keep it to x only. Like if I put a condition as if I, let's say, let's add the above condition only. Sonnet. Okay, it need x need to be replaced by I because we are making an operation on I only. Sonnet. You can see it's odd number, even number, odd number, even number, odd number, even number, or odd number. Because all the values in that one is, and let's, okay, suppose I want to print this number, what can I do? Along with this odd number, I want to print which number it is. How I can do it? How I can print the number along with that print statement. How I can do that? Anyone?
By including int integer.
By including what?
Int.
F format.
Formatting. We'll be going with formatting because it's already an integer number. So we'll be using the formatting. It's an even number. For even number, you can just write it like this. Here we put a I, and similarly, rather than putting it's, you can just pass a I in this and add a F in the statement. Now, if you rerun this, you will get 1 an odd number, 2 is an even number, 3 an odd number, 4 an even number, and so on. So you are changing the data dynamically in the print statement. Okay. So that is how we can do it also. So that's how you're using the for loop and the while loop conditions. Now coming to the while loop condition. Now while loop starts with while and it's a infinite loop till the time condition has been met. Suppose if I say if x is less than 10. If x is less than 10 and let's define a variable x. So not x. Let's say it will be q. And q is equal to 1. Now what will happen? So print q. Now this will enter into an infinite loop. Why it is? Because it's always gonna be less than 1. So you can see this green arrow represents the execution of line. So what is happening? It is just going this, checking for the line and printing the value. Checking for the condition, printing the value. Checking for the condition, printing the value. Let's stop this. Now, to change this, what we can do is either you can go for q plus plus, or you can just make it like this, q plus 1. Now, what will this happen? It will increment the q by 1 value. Oh, I made a mistake. You can see that it incremented the q value by 1, and as the condition keep on going till the time you get a 10, and when the condition was met, it stopped automatically. It gets stopped automatically on that particular place itself. Is it clear how we are running the while loop also? But till the time we are not giving any kind of range in this one, like as the for loop, we have the range. In this case, in the case of while loop, we are not going for any particular range. We are just going for the condition based. That till the time condition is not met, just keep on running this loop again and again. Just keep on running this particular task again and again. And you can pass one more thing over here. If q value is greater than 5, now that is where we come across another set of statements. We call them as a and other control flow statements. As suppose you want to break this loop. If you want to break this loop in between on a particular condition, now that is what you can do. If you run this again, you can see that till the time 6 is greater than 5. So 6 is greater than 5, so it enter and it break the loop in between. It didn't waited till all the conditions to met. It braked in between. Okay, so that is what we have. That is what we are running in this particular case. Clear? That is how you can use a break statement. Now, similar to that, we have break, continue, and pass. Okay, we have 3 statements over here. Similar to this one, we have break, continue, and pass. Now, break we have already discussed. Now, suppose if you want to keep something blank, I want to keep this something as pass. Let's print this statement over here. Now, if I run this, if it is okay. Now let's run it. Now what will happen? You can see values are getting skipped. So values are coming like this. Let's see it to be. Let's remove this pass from here. Let's write it over here. pass. What will happen? It will only print results above 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, if the values are greater than 5, only then print the result, else just pass the value. Okay, else just pass the error or else just pass the value itself. That is how you use the pass statement. If you want to skip something, that is when you can give the pass. And similar to that, we have a continue also, that if there is some kind of break or if there is some kind of error occurred, that's when you can use a continue statement. That if you think there might be somewhere where we can come across an error, that's when you can pass a continue in that, and it will just skip that error and move on further. So that's how you use these kind of control flow statements. Clear, everyone? Any question, query, doubts with this one? Yeah. Any question, query, doubts up to this part? Is it clear? Yes or no? Okay. So moving further, and if you feel like any doubt, do interrupt me in between. Okay. Okay. So moving further, so that is what we have. Now let's do a small task. Okay. Let's do a small task only. So everyone have to write a code to create a calculator, a basic calculator which will do plus, minus, multiply, and divide. Okay. So that will help you run all these things. So you have to create a basic calculator to do all the kind of plus, minus, multiply, and divide, all four conditions only. Are we understood? Are we clear with what is the small task we have discussed? That we have to create a calculator. Create a calculator to perform plus, minus, and this divide. So these four operations you have to perform. Now what we are going to use, we'll be using the input statements and if conditions, if else conditions, if else. So we're going to give it a try quick. Let's take 5 minutes. You just have to write the if else conditions to try it out and share me in the chat. Are we able to do it? We have to simply take two inputs as a number, and then we have to pass it through the if-else condition. There will be three inputs actually. We will be taking three inputs, which will help us figure out all what operation do we want to perform and which kind of this numbers we are gonna work with. So you'll be using with this thing. So let's take 1 more minute. Okay, let's try. So okay, let's remove the while loop for now. So what we have to take is we have to take two numbers first. So that's gonna be integer value with input as enter first number. Similarly, we'll be having next number also. Input equal to integer input enter second number. Operation input action we want to follow. Now that is the input part we have taken. Now what we're going to do is we'll be passing it through if-else condition. If operation equal to that will be a string value. So you'll be passing it into the string. If operation is equal to multiplication, then perform print x times y. Similarly, elif operation is equal to suppose plus operation, you print x plus y. Then elif
Please scroll down. We are not able to see.
here we go.
Thank you.
Then operation is minus. Then we want is print x minus sorry print x minus y. Now we are left with else only. So let's just pass the else at the last. Print x divided by y. So that's how you have done the calculator, the basic calculator. Let's test it out. So let's pass the first number as suppose 8, second number as 2, enter operation. Now suppose I want to do the multiplication, or let's say plus sign, because that's the second condition, second if condition. Let's go with plus, so get the result as 10. Now that calculator run one time only. Suppose you want to run it multiple times. What we can simply do is you can pass this into a while loop. While loop is true. And because we have a tab operations, indentation, we call this the spaces which we added over here right now. That is what we call it as the indentation. Okay, so that for that. Now, if you run it inside a while loop, it will just keep on running. Like if I just pass 10, 2, and divide. So give you the result and it will restart the operation. So it will just keep on running again and again. So that's how you can just, by using a while loop as true, it will just keep on running continuously. Okay, that is how you are using this while loop. Like one of the use case, and this will calculator will keep on running. Let's just end this loop. Are we clear how we did it?
While is usually used for looping purpose.
Sorry for the interruption. There was some power cut just now happened. Okay, coming back to the screen again. Is it clear, everyone?
So while is usually used for looping purpose of what?
Sorry, come again.
While is used only for looping purpose,
Yes,
continuous
while is
loop
used for
purpose.
like these are looping statements only. While and for loop, both are the looping statement. They use for the loops only. So if
Okay, okay.
you have to work with some sort of statement as looping, that's only when you are using this.
So what is the purpose
When you want
to
to
put
iterate
while
it
true?
over and over, that's when you're using this kind of code.
What is the purpose to put while true?
So purpose of putting a while loop is that it can that calculator will keep on running it again and again. That's why it is just for demonstration purpose I added over here. That if you run it like this, it will just keep on running the loop again and again. You will just keep on adding this XY numbers again and again. Like 9, then it is 3. Operation I want to go with is the plus operation. Enter. Well, now you can see another set of operation will start working. You can start again the next number, then next operation to the multiplication. Now this time I want to do the multiplication. Now it will do the multiplication and give me the result for that. Little time loading. Just go.
Seems there is some slowness in network.
So you can see it got 60 as a result, and again it started running again. That's why we added a while loop. If you just want to run it once, you can simply run it uh, like as single statement. You can just simply remove this while loop to work as single statement. Yes.
Hello, Sahil.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems there is slow network slowness at your side.
Yeah, it was, as I mentioned, there was a power cut just now, so my Wi-Fi was getting started. That's why it occurred. So no issue. Like we can see that is the why. That's why we are using this while loop so that it will keep on rerunning itself again and again. That is the
Okay.
sole purpose of adding this while loop.
Okay.
Okay. So that is what we have as for today. Uh, any question, query, doubts? Because from now on, what we'll be doing is, and from now on, we'll be starting at exact 8 because today also people joined late. So everyone, please try to join by 8 itself every day. We'll be start, uh, sorry, 7, I mean 7. Every day we'll start our class at exact 7 and we'll start a session by 6:55 for sure. Okay. So be available at by 7 itself. And last 10 minutes, we'll keep it as a doubt part. So if you have any doubt, if you have any questions regarding anything, you can ask in the last 10 minutes. Clear, everyone? So is
Yes.
if anyone have any sort of doubts, please let me know. Yes. So yesterday's video has been already been uploaded into the application. They must have provided you with some application where you can watch the previous recordings. And today's recording will also be uploaded by end of the day today. So every day recordings will be uploaded. And from next week onward, we'll be taking sessions within the app itself. So you get the recording instantly. Is it clear, anyone? If anyone have any doubts, please let me know. No, it's Learnomate app. Must have given you access for Learnomate app. You can access it through that.
Well, can you explain once again the program which we have written before the calculator?
Yeah. Let me just go there. Before calculator. This one you're talking about?
Yeah, Q is equal to 1. Yeah, this one.
So what we have done over here is it's a simple demonstration of while loop. Okay, understand this? That we have first defined a variable as q, which is equal to 1. Now what we are saying that till the time, okay, till the time q is greater than 10, just keep on running. Sorry, till the time q is less than 10, just keep on running it. Okay, till the time q is less than 10, just keep on running it. Now what we added, we have write it like this. Okay, let's write it in a simpler way. Q is equal to q plus 1. Sorry, q plus 1, which means that you're just adding 1 into a q. You're updating that q value by adding 1 in it. So what will
Mhm.
happen? Once it enter into the while loop, it will be updating one value. It will be adding one value in that particular q value. So now it will, now this time this will be 2. This q value will become
Mhm.
equal to 2. Now
Mhm.
if q is greater than 5, if q is
Mhm.
greater than 5, then print that
Mhm.
number. Okay, print that number if q is greater than 5. Like first iteration, it is 2 only,
Mhm.
right? Else pass, which means just skip that number. Move to next loop. Okay,
Mhm.
rerun that loop again. So now it is coming back again. Now 2 is also less than 10. Now it will become 3. 3 is less than 5. So 3 is less than 5. So it will come to pass. Again, Q is now 3 is less than 10. Q is now it become 4. 4 is not greater than 5. So it will come into the else part. Pass. The 4,
This
5, 6. This will be, and now when it comes to a 6, now 6 is greater than 5. So it will print that number. That's why it is getting printed over here.
Okay.
In similar way, now again, suppose at the condition of 9. Now 9 is less than 10. So it will enter. Now Q will become 10. Now Q is greater, 10 is greater than 5. So it will again print this number here. And after that, when it will run this loop again, now 10 is not less than 10. So it ends over there. That's when the iteration finally ends, or that loop finally ends.
Okay.
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 And coming to the questions part or the small assignment, let's go with that assignment also. As I mentioned, from next time onwards, or from today's class onward, every day you'll be getting small assignments to practice on. So here is the assignment for today. There's some basic questions which you have to work with. The first question is that you have to just provide a single range value.
Sahil, these questions will be pasted in the Learnomate app, right?
I'm sharing this notebook. You'll be able to access this notebook directly. I'm sharing, that's why I added over here only.
So how we can get it?
Yeah, I'm sharing it in the chat right away.
Chat away. Okay, okay.
So you can keep this one because we are going to write all the code in this only. So whenever you want, you can just you can access this file always. I'm sharing it. There we go. So you can access this file always. So whatever kind of practice, whatever kind of commands we are doing, we are going to do related to Python, everything will be stored into this file only. And we'll try to add everything in this file so that you can access it anytime, anywhere. And all the assignments will also be added over here. So what we're going to do tomorrow is, so tomorrow, try to do this assignment by tomorrow itself. And by the last 10 minutes, we'll understand or we'll discuss this one. If you are facing any kind of issues in this assignment. Okay. So that is the first assignment and the task for practice. So we're going to give it a try. These are all some similar kind of examples. Like if you talk about this temperature converter. So you have to you have to create a formula. You can just simply write a formula by using this again, if else condition or the for loop itself or the regular formula itself only, that it will convert the value of Celsius into temperature, Fahrenheit. You can just write the formula over there. Similarly, when you talk about the first one, which is write a program that generates a random integer range 1 to 100. Now, how you generate random numbers from 1 to 100? So you use a range operator. You
Sahil,
use a range
can you
operator.
share these questions in the TXT format? It's opening Google Drive. It takes a lot of time,
Okay.
so it will be better to have no TXT format to get all the questions.
Okay. But I guess that should not take time actually. But no problem. I'll share the text for that text file for
Yeah,
this also.
it opened at my side immediately, but maybe anyone can modify this file.
No, no one can modify this file. I just provided a viewer access. So you guys have only viewer access for this case.
Okay.
So you can just view this file and you can copy this into your own collab notebook.
Sahil, in this case of watching videos tomorrow later, we cannot get this questions, right? If you're sharing it in the drive, we need to copy the link immediately. Then only. Otherwise, if you're watching the video, recorded video,
No,
we
no.
can.
This link is gonna stay as the same. This is a notebook link. It is gonna be like completely like we will be providing you as a resource also into the along with the recording. We don't worry about that part.
That's what I meant.
This yeah. So this whole file will be shared like the link which I've shared with you. That will also be shared as a resource along with that recording.
Okay.
So don't
Thank you.
worry on that part.
Thank you.
And this file is accessible. It will be opening up easy. But if you want it to be as a text file, I'll share that also. Don't worry.
Thank
That
you.
will, okay, let's do it one thing. Let's create a Word document, Google Word document.
Sahil, I'm able to update that file. I mean, modify that file, but not sure if that I can save. Might
I guess
it might
that
not
will
be
be on
reflected.
your end because what's happening,
Okay.
what's happening over here is that the changes which you're making, what you're getting is you're getting a copy of this in your own
Copy of
Google
it.
Drive. So you can make edit
Okay.
on that one, but it will not be
Mm-hmm.
reflected in my file. That is
Okay.
what that
Got it.
means. Like if I give you a update access, you can directly update in my file also.
Mm-hmm.
That is the difference in these cases. So here you go with the now here you go with the text document also. So let me share this as well. So this will also be shared along with this. So we'll keep this assignment as a single page only, so that every kind of assignment which you're gonna do will be adding all the assignments in this one only. So it will have a think up things.
So
Any other questions or any doubts? Then yes.
there is a off tomorrow, right?
Uh, of
No
tomorrow.
classes.
Why?
No classes tomorrow, right?
I guess there is Monday to Friday. It is right.
Okay,
Yes.
it's Monday to Friday. It's mentioned like Monday to Thursday something.
We'll get you that confirmation. I thought it's Monday to Friday only,
Oh,
but
okay.
don't worry. You will get the confirmation for that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So any other question, query, doubts? If anyone have? Okay. So then that's all for today. Thank you, everyone.